At what job are all the employees fucking each other? Every single sit-down restaurant with a bar can also guarantee that at least half of the staff are upping shots and doing coke at work. This is factual. Source: line cook here. Not even a chef. Just someone who racks the lines up. You're the real MVP. I worked at a Disneyland resort when I was young. It was basically just that. Currently working there now. Can confirm that everything is as you remember. This has been happening since the beginning of Disney. Look up Defunct Land, the craziest party Walt Disney ever threw on YouTube. Even though he had a policy against fraternizing with coworkers and segregated the men and women, a lot of marriages started there, including the 14-year-old girl who posed for Snow White to one of the 26-year-old animators. Gross. Porn. R/the only correctance were. Not really. There's also sales. I've heard recruitment is a shag fest. Renaissance festivals. Traveling. Partying. Fuck fests. 100% this, but make sure to have lower standards. How low? Are we talking looks? Weight or hygiene? Yes. I'll pass on this one, the lads. I can take a pass on 2 of the 3, but I call it quite on the Full House. Cruise ship cruise. Screw ships. A small town Walmart. Confirmed. I work in a small town Walmart. Majority of the store is dating another employee. Damn, that one employee sure gets around. Been around the block so many times. Knows which of the parking spots are free. The one in the top left. Down the street from the jail. From what I've gathered from this thread, everywhere. From what I've gathered, everywhere except where I work. It happens where you work too. You're just not a part of it. Just had to twist the knife, didn't ya? I'm not a part of it at my job mainly because I'm straight. Edit. I have been asked out by guys at my job, but I'm just not interested. I'm not trying to hate on my LGBTQ peeps. I'm just not ready to do that at this point in my life. Military. Second this one. Sorry military spouses. What do you think the spouses are doing? The nearest barracks? No, not all of them in case someone gets offended. Everyone in the dorms or barracks is having sex. They aren't much different than college dorms. Hell, I did when I was in the dorms on the airbase. So was my roommate. I was a corrections officer for a while. There was a lot of scrogging going on at that prison. Edit. Decided to paste this from a previous answer about the public airing of dirty laundry. Since a few people have mentioned the officer on inmate relations, I figured it could be enlightening. I worked as a corrections officer for a few years when I was younger. One major thing about working in a prison is that it's very important not to become too familiar with inmates. Sometimes that's easier said than done because, surprise, inmates is people too, guys. Anyway, one of the lieutenants there was married to a female officer. Because of the conflict of interest, they had to work separate shifts. The wife was on night shift for a long time and eventually it came out that she'd been having a long time affair with an inmate and got pregnant. Ike. They both resigned, and I didn't hear much about the marriage after that. To make things worse, the dorm this happened in was a mental health dorm and the inmate was nasty. Like, refused to bathe. Nasty. Also, the dude was fugly. Preemptive response to a future question. I don't feel particularly bad about saying this about the inmate. Mental health status notwithstanding. The guy was an absolute douchebag and deserved to be locked up. Care to share more details on this one? Calm down, FBI Nobbard is snitching here. Whoops. Summer camp. Another wet, hot, American summer. Professional athletes. Didn't they run out of condoms at the Olympics once? I don't know how to correctly Google this. http www.factfiend.com/apparently athletes just can't stop sex Olympics/gotcha. How do I join the Olympics? Call center. Every call center can have anywhere from 100 to 2,000 employees, all from the ages of 18 to 75. I have worked in for myself. It's a high school for adults. I remember new batches of trainees being referred to as fresh meats. There was a guy we referred to as the welcoming committee because he'd always managed to score with one of the newbies. Dude looked like nothing too. We never figured out his trick. His trick was preying on the low self-esteem of people who settled on a job in a call center. Lol. That makes sense. This was, however, the best paying call center job in the city, so there was still some pride in our shame. This reminds of the scene in Repo Man, where Xander's Kloss tells Emilio Estevez, "There's fucking room to move as a fry cook. I could be manager in 2 years. King. Got apostrophe." I've heard that people at the Olympics fuck like bunnies. I can see how. A bunch of adrenalined up teenagers who are all built like Greek gods trapped in the same general area for a month. Although apparently Renfire workers are also pretty horny. Ginny D did a video on it a year ago. They also have almost no time for relationships because they are relentlessly training for the Olympics. So their time in the village is literally the first chance they have for anything other than training. And they are surrounded by equally isolated and equally horny super hot athletes. Chipotle. One of my friends was talking to me about work and mentioned that at least half of the staff had seen them naked and they'd fucked a pretty good amount of them. I believe them because I know their track record. Lol. Can confirm. I worked at Chipotle briefly and over half the crew had hooked up at some point in time. Where should I drop my job application? Chipotle. /r/ems It's your time to shine. Long shifts. Isolated with only a small group of people. Working odd hours meaning the only people you know free on your day off is likely your co-workers. Ideal environment for a lot of workplace relationships to grow. Bingo. Stick 2 people in a box for 12 hours a day and a connection is bound to develop. Either affection or hatred. I've heard this happens a lot with Disneyland/World cast members. I've read these stories. One of which was someone walking into a changing room and Gaston was giving to Belle. Belle looks at this person and says don't tell Beast as they keep going. This made my morning. Also made me put my phone down and get back to work. Mushroom Mine. Pennsylvania. Men and women working together in the dark. For some reason it just made everyone underground sluts. Many failed marriages propagated from that place. The Underground Sluts of the Mushroom Mine would make a great movie title. I have a friend who worked on a ski resort in Western Canada. Apparently, everyone there is young, hot, and looking for adventure. Half of them are Australians. And for whatever reason Canadians and Australians are weirdly attracted to each other. He had some wild stories. And even, he told us he was downplaying what he said because we wouldn't believe how much fucking each other actually went on. Whistler's dope. Actors/actresses in the music industry. My ex is a theater actress. She fucked around with so many dudes while being with me that I can't even count. She still calls me at least twice a year to fuck her, which I always decline. Tried to get with most of my guy friends and even tried to make a move on a 17-year-old boy, which is fucked up. My cousin is a famous singer and he quit because he hated the ungodly amount of inbreeding of the music industry/theater and the drama. I never went into music full time because I have to vomit if I see some schmuck preach about being a good human while I know for a fact that they piss on teenage girls while their family waits for them at home. If you go in full time, you'll have to put up with more and more of these kind of fuckers. They piss on teenage girls while their family waits for them at home. I can think of at least 3 musicians who this has applied to at some point. Arlie Sykes. Who are the others? R. Kelly. This thread, every job everywhere, except tech companies. I worked for a medical tech company that had huge numbers of people all in their early 20s that traveled in packs doing on-site software installs and upgrades. They spent about 2/3 of their time on the road. Lots of sex going on. Secure psychiatric facility. Need a lot of staff on at all time. But pretty much all the patients are sedated and locked in their rooms at night. Not much else to do. I used to work in it for a mental health trust. The secure unit night shift was famous for breaking up marriages. One time, one couple filmed themselves going at it on work equipment and then he shared the video with a friend over the work network. It got forwarded on a lot. We got asked to trace the email chain, and it was decided that anyone who received it and then forwarded it on would be fired. Then we figured out that if we enforced that we would have to fire pretty much the entire ward staff. It was decided to just hand out a warning instead. Ah yes, good old human nature, when you have to accept it for the sake of it. Multi-level marketing, but not in the fun way. A mid-range paper supply company in the northeastern United States. Pam is the office mattress. After all, is that why she had the whitest shoes? Nationals Party Australia. Yeah, but they're all related to each other, so it doesn't count. I wondered why they all looked like Beetroot or Barnaby. My hubby and I have a small business and are the only employees. So lots of fucking your coworker, I hope. Lifeguards. Both other members of staff and after hours with certain customers. Hotels, restaurants, and absolutely everyone is getting rammed and taking drugs that live in resorts. Olympians, when they finally attend the Olympics, they have to order in boxes and boxes of condoms for the Olympic Village. The Navy. Apparently. AHH. The seamen. No wonder the seawater is fucking salty. A local family-run restaurant in Alabama. One plays many roles, chefs may be cousins. And wives, the tide is rolling. If you are new to Tattletale TV, please subscribe. I have new videos every day. Stay tuned right now for another